Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dissonant Waves. I'm Dominic. Tricks and Ritz are here. We just recorded for like 5 minutes, and it just didn't want to record. So I had to reset my settings real quick.
Yeah.
But we're back.
Technical difficulties.
Talking about Tones and Eyes. Welcome to the Madhouse. Sleeps Dope Smoker of Montreal's Daughter of Cloud, Satanic Covers EP, and the playlist that I made covering
I
B-sides from
love
2004
how
to 2014.
exhausted you sound right now because you're repeating this all.
And then we were talking about the Petite League shows in Nashville and Kansas City. Kind of Nashville was pretty cool. Trix and I got to meet the band. Lorenzo and Henry and Adam, Kevin. They were pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sold a lot of merch in Nashville. They had some Joyrider vinyl, some Joyrider cassettes, some Rattler vinyl, some T-shirts, some totes. Sold a lot of it. Got the last tote, the last vinyl, good stuff. They're pretty cool. It turns out. They've also listened to this podcast a little bit.
Yeah. A little bit.
So there's a chance they were listening to us before Mitchell was. So that's fun.
Yeah.
But then that's where I met Trix for the first time in Nashville. That was a fun meetup. And then my further plans fell through in Nashville. So I was like, you know what? I drove 8 hours to get to Nashville. It's another 8 hours to get to Kansas City. Let's just go for it. And then I drove to Kansas City, like 500 miles, and I attended a very small house show where Petite League was playing, and like nobody knew who they were. It was a pretty small group. The other acts were pretty local, and then I met them again, and like they were pretty chilled and like very gracious to have somebody they recognized come to the show. And like, pretty similar sets. I think they had like their kind of set, like what they wanted to play. A lot of like stuff that's been blown up on TikTok and Spotify and all that stuff. Like Not Always Happy, Slugger stuff. Some new stuff, obviously. Moondog, Saint Michael. The big difference really was that the second show, the group demanded an encore, or like not demanded, but was like, play one more. So they played this really like.
Did they? Oh, I was gonna say, did they play one more? Now they have. So yeah.
They did. They played like a really gussied up version of My Black Lungs from Slugger that I could not recognize at first.
Nice.
They probably actually might have not have had the encore plan, to be honest.
Well, they were kind of like, oh yeah, I guess we have one more song planned. But they were asking me like what stuff I wanted to hear in Kansas City, and then they just played none of it.
Fair enough.
Which is fair. Like I was probably asking for stuff they didn't really like have like prepared for everyone to know how to play or something.
What kind of stuff are you
asking?
Like I was asking like like Bad for Fun would be cool to hear, or like what was the other one I was asking for? I don't know, something like Annie or like Getta. Getta was just like a joke pick, but
well, they did actually play Annie.
Oh, yeah, right, they did. Then I was probably asking for something else. I don't know what. But then we talked, and they were telling me about how the voicemails, the one voicemail from No Hitter was just like their friend fucking around, basically, and not like a serious like somebody getting offended and being like, "Do not ask for that information." So
pretty funny.
Yeah, it was like because it's like Facebook has that thing where you can just like request stuff from people, I guess. And so they just sent like their friend just a request for just ludicrous information.
I can't think on how to flow this into our albums, by the way. So what do we want to start with?
But and in my travels between Nashville and Kansas City and home, I listened to last week's picks, this week's picks, what I'm picking for next week. Even got through about 7 albums or 8 between each car trip. So
hell yeah.
I was trusting there's a flow in here. Come on, second.
Get the second. I got to be very familiar with Sleep, Tones and I, and Off Montreal once again throughout my trips, and I feel like the way this is going, the easiest way to start this would just be talk about Tones and I first.
Okay. Let me introduce this album. So Tones and I, also known as Tony Watson, is a some age-year-old singer from. She likes to claim Byron, but she moved to Byron from somewhere else, so...
Mount Martha, I believe.
She started off busking and then quite quickly got picked up by probably Warner Music or something like that, maybe Universal.
Sony.
Don't know. Sony. It was one of the big ones. She had posted stuff onto Triple J Unearthed before the deal, supposedly.
The same month it
hope
happened. So
yeah, that's always like a bit of a eek, because if you had already signed with the label and you're on Unearthed, that's well, that's a shit thing to do, because Unearthed is supposed to be for labelless artists, but whatever. Well, those without a major label, because there's always ones with like small labels and stuff.
yeah, she also signed a Bad Batch. I don't know how big Bad Batch is.
But the song Johnny Run Away, which it's not that bad of a song, as much as I still thought, don't really like this. It got a lot of Triple J play, and that was kind of the start of a blow up. And look, it seemed like she was going to be this artist that had kind of a bit of success in Australia, and that's about it. She could be a major hit in Australia, but that's about it. But then Dance Monkey came, and now it's currently one of the most played songs in the world. It was absolutely massive.
Road.
It was absolutely massive. And somehow Dominic and Trix had not heard it until like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. I'm not gonna go too much about that song. Again, I don't like it, but you know, that's me. I thought the absolutely fucking atrocious song was the title track of that EP.
I don't think it was a terrible song, Dance Monkey.
No, that's not the one I'm on about. There's an actual song called "The Kids Are Coming," which I hate that song. But
very suggestive.
Last year though, she put out a song which, thankfully, this album doesn't get as bad as, which is still probably one of my least favorite songs I've heard in my life. And it was the whole reason I didn't do a top 10 worst songs last year. It was because this song, in my opinion, was so bad, no song deserved to be compared to it. And that was Tones and I's You're So Fucking Cool.
Which is on the Japanese release of this album, of course.
Absolutely terrible beats, over-singing to a maximum, lyrics which claim to be social anxiety on there, which have nothing to do with actually anything relatable on it. This whole bullshit, I'm better than everyone else, ego to it. And I was really hoping with some of the singles that I heard off this album that she wouldn't be going in that direction again. But she fucking did. And that's... nothing gets as bad as that. But my god, welcome to the madhouse. Is it as bad as everyone's saying? There's potential on this record.
Is it Anthony Fantano's Zero? No.
It's not as good as, like, it's not as bad or as strong as the Zero as Fantano gave it. But outside of that potential I'm talking about, I struggle to find anything I like about this album. The lyrics are awful. I can't hear her bang on about how she's different from everyone else for another goddamn minute. Because she goes about it, I'm so unique, I don't get all these people and everything like that, and it's...
But she's also lonely, and she's like, does everyone feel this way? Am I the only one who does?
And...
Am I the only person living in the sea?
The best song off this record, I would say, is probably Won't Sleep, and that song's still shit.
Let's see.
Cloudy Day is one that has potential. With the opening instrumentation, feels like it's trying to at least go a bit more simple, but then it just goes. And this is another problem that I have with her music, is that it just tries way too much and succeeds at none of it. I feel like if it just started, and that's why Dance Monkey's at least fine. It's a lot simpler of a song.
Here's the
and
thing.
That's also why it's as big as a hit. And she starts off, she goes on, and I'll get to you, Dominic, but I feel like if you just get that little part right first, and then worry about building up into everything else, you get a lot more impactful moments. And this is always my biggest draw with her. She tries to be over-ambitious, but she's being way too much. She oversins everything. She puts in all these instruments in hopes that it works because they're all big and anthemic. And it's like, this must be what you felt was cringe when you're trying to be epic when listening to Nana Managuchi. But this feels like what you must have felt, but 50 times worse.
Not the same way. Because some of the stuff on Anamanaguchi was very much intentional, very much done by a band who knows what they're doing, has had a few records under their belt, is still going for like relentlessly positive. where I think the problem with Tones and I is that this is an indie artist who is trying to make a mainstream pop album. This record would appeal to people who care about Susan Boyle, who care about like
There's one thing I have to just
LSD.
immediately disagree with you though. I don't think you can realistically call Tones and I indie.
That is what she's meant to be. She is. We can
She's
just.
meant
We can
to
just.
have that persona.
We can just say the words industry plant and get it over with.
Absolutely. I think this. If you go in, like, I want to point out when we go into some of these criticisms, there are a lot of criticisms that I've seen of Tones and I on the internet, which have obviously been completely disgusting and misogynist. And
yes,
I want to put out that any criticisms that we do with this is based off just the Tones and I as the artist and the music released.
The impression that we get from the music.
If I see another fucking comment talking about how Tones and I looks like a pig, I'm gonna just fucking roll my eyes so hard I might detach from my fucking brain.
Yeah, this is no attack on her physical appearance or her, like, we don't know anything about her.
Really. Or her as a person as
right.
well. Much shit like this, but there is still, when we come into these criticisms, which are, there's no realistic evidence on there. You just get what you see on here. But there are stuff about her story which is just suspicious, as in, like, really, because you got to tell me, out of all the buskers in Byron, this is the one. Like, I guess she did put out one of the biggest songs an Australian's ever put out, but that's also come with a lot of help from the producers at Sony.
Right. She worked with Konstantin Kirsting, like, right away. The man who did Jungle Giants. The man who did fucking Mallrat. You know? So you're gonna just, like the problem with her story is that, like, okay, she was a busker, she went right into a major record deal, and then there's the whole part about, okay, she's either like 28 or 21. And then, you know, that's what the Wikipedia says. She's either born in like 93 or 2000, and she says that everyone's wrong, which is fine. Make your age, you know, ambiguous. But if she really started out as a kid, like, uploading to YouTube and stuff, that would mean she was either 9 or 16, and there's a huge difference.
And I want to point out as well that even with industry plant accusations and stuff like that, that doesn't actually impact the listening, because we have one of the most obvious ones of industry plants we covered was Lana Del Rey, and that's the one that was actually a proven industry plant, and their music's still fine.
Yeah.
So, like, yes, you can be suspicious of the story. You can be a little bit, like, leery of what are you trying to, like, do here in terms of the background and everything, and the questionable about, like, I don't even. Do you have you ever seen Tones and I's, like, old YouTube stuff by chance or anything? Like, I don't even know.
I've not been interested enough in the music to
like, I'd be curious to know if it was like something that's, oh, we took it down because you know I grew up and got embarrassed or not.
I will have to share a picture in this chat here, which just we'll continue on while I find this image.
So yes.
Okay.
Like this, like I was saying though, this is an album, or meant to be an album, that's supposed to give industry credibility, but I feel like, again, is meant to be for people who are very mainstream, who follow, like, the American Idols, America's Got Talent kind of stuff, who care about, like, those people, who just like whatever pop music is coming out, basically.
I posted the image in the chat, by the way. Just once you to see it, you'll understand why I haven't said this one out loud.
Which, you know, this is a tweet dated from, like, or Facebook post dated from, like, 2011. But she was either 11 or, like, 18.
Gonna guess like 18 there.
Watch the throne really hit hard, you know. So for those who can't see, this is a classic Facebook post from Tony Watson that spread around where she quotes the opening line to I can't even say the title of the song. N-words in Paris.
Yes, guys in Paris.
Hey, where was Kanye and Jay-Z's Siri?
But okay, the obvious comparison now that we have to talk about with the album LSD, which is the other one that we've done that is very much like a shallow.
I prefer LSD because LSD knows what it was doing.
I'm gonna be honest, I prefer LSD too.
I have to disagree.
I'm going to just say completely why, and it's because I've been talking about it, but it's because of the overuse of everything in this album. In LSD, they tried to do an experimental album which felt generic and uninspired, and didn't impress me at all, but they still knew what they were doing in here, and you'll notice it in songs like Cloudy Day, Fly Away, fucking almost all of this. They put in as much as they can into everything because they think more is better. They don't know what they're doing generally on this album. Everything, I have heard so many songs in my life which have been a clusterfuck, but I've heard them be. One of my favorite songs of the last decade is Pub's DVP. That song sounds like an absolute clusterfuck, but it does that with such simple instrumentation as well. It's just a normal guitar, drum, bass, vocal setup on there, and they know exactly what the fuck they're doing, and that's what makes it so fucking good. In here, everything sounds like a clusterfuck, and the most appropriate title on this whole song is Just a Mess. On this whole album, sorry. Because that's what this is. One of the biggest things that you need to learn when you go for broad, expansive moments is contrast. Contrast is something that doesn't really get talked about by a lot of casual listeners, but it's one of probably the most important fucking things when it comes to music theory. I remember listening to Barbra Streisand's by Duck Sauce, and it was just my brother in the car, and he was just pointing out, like, the reason why he loves that song, even though it's so simple, is you have these moments where they turn off some of the instruments, make it really minimalistic, and then bring it back up. And he talks about that kind of contrast that happens in there, which really makes you more appreciate the single elements of the song. And makes it also banger, so you're not just listening to the same goddamn thing all the time. Here, she has a voice that can be fine, actually. I think if some of these moments where she uses it were just a lot more stripped down and not used as much, they would actually possibly hit to a part where they would be fine. But because they use so much, it's just annoying. There is no impact in any broad moments on this album that's being attempted to do, because you're just hearing it over and over again, that there's no contrast. They simply do not know what they're doing. That is all that I can say about this for why I appreciate LSD more.
I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't really stand their voice.
Yeah, no, it's not that great, honestly, but it has... I mean, the most impressive thing about her is that she can replicate these vocals live.
The only thing that really bothered me is that she sounded too much like Sia to me.
It sounds... It's more like sounding like Sia.
The fuck out of everything.
She what?
Oversings the fuck out of everything.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I can imagine that being a criticism. My disagreement here is, number one, center on the idea that, okay, it is said that she wrote all these songs herself. It is said that this is, she really wants her first album.
Bullshit. I don't want to throw around accusations, but that's bullshit.
That's why I said this is what is said. It is said that she wanted to have her debut album. She wanted to be proud of it, so that when the pandemic happened, she ended up adding like 5 more songs to it because she had time to write more. Okay, now taking all of that into consideration, if you remember when we listened to LSD, one of the things that we talked about was how it sounded like it was done in a day, and that they cobbled every single piece of that recording together to make it to 8 tracks, which from those 8, one of them was a remix. So it was really 7 tracks and a remix. It really sounded like they were stretching everything they had to the nth degree, trying to scrape together something out of a session that maybe did not provide enough fruitful music that they needed. Now here, we have 14 tracks. We have a lot of ideas at least happening. Is it oversung? Is it overdone? Yeah, sure. However, I would prefer somebody who is trying to make an impression in the industry, who is saying that they wrote all these songs, who is really trying to make their debut album as magnanimous as they possibly can, fuck it up, instead of 3 industry professionals coming together to make an album that barely scrapes past the finish line of being an album. Now,
I also want to point out that with LSD, we all agreed that Heaven Can Wait, whilst we didn't think was that good of a song, was at least a tolerable song.
Sure.
There is nothing on here which I would say is actually kind of tolerable.
I think the opening track and the closing track are the best that she got.
Oh no, the closing track is absolute trash on here.
I didn't like the opening track either, really.
Closing track has shit tier production to it.
She can't
The
really rap, but I
bars-
appreciate her attempts on bars to rap and like make a tribute to her. Apparently,
How does that sound like a tribute? That just sounds like her stroking her ego the whole time. That's what.
it just is so funny and so just like it's real, but it's kind of
Granted,
like
I don't know who T is. But...
right. We don't know who T is. So she really had a friend who passed away. Hope that person found peace and all that stuff. But a song like Bars, it's a little catchy, and then like it's so braggadocious, just so like out there that it's just fun to listen to. A lot of like hip hop and rap is that. It's very braggadocious, very just kind of like over exaggerating what you've really got.
Let's also just take a time to remember that the deluxe edition of this was just the EP added onto it, so that they could claim that the streaming for that album had reached records.
That is true too. And it's also worth mentioning.
Yep.
But I appreciate that she or whoever put this together at least went for like the Bars track to like try to vary it up a little bit, so it's not all just mainstream pop tune. And it's like it's like okay, every time that Australia seems to have like a white rapper breakout, it just always is mired in controversy for some reason. We got Iggy Azalea, Downtones and I. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to consider Tones and I a rapper.
Yeah, I guess she does.
Especially since this album's kind of like, as the actual proper album and all the non-singles on this, it's flopped.
Sure.
I've genuinely just heard pretty much no more talk about her as much, especially as I did in 2019. In 2019, I didn't go actively looking out for anyone's advertisements, but still couldn't hear the end of Tones and I. That's how big she was in 2019. And even with all my criticisms and any of that, fucking congratulations on making a song that big. That's no easy accomplishment, even with the fucking backing of Sony. But
yeah,
I also just think the introductory track has a decent beat that's kind of fun to listen to, like the Madhouse kind of like piano beat. I can appreciate it. Like the song is very trite and very like stereotypical, but it's I don't know. On a scale here,
I want to ask you a sincere question.
Yes.
And you need to think about this for at least a minute.
Okay.
Where do you rank this out of all the albums, not just of 2021, but that we've covered this year?
All right, let me look at the list. You two talk for a minute. Let me figure it out.
Because I genuinely...
I placed above DD King.
I put it with DD King. Because they
I'll
have
put
the
it
exact same issues. It's two
I'll
people
put it
who
about
don't know what they're
a
doing.
ball hair over DD King. Because
Yeah,
at least this one didn't have commotion in the ocean.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
I already can tell you're going to hate where I'm going to put it.
Oh,
Number one.
No. No.
Alright, well, give me a reason why I hate where you put it.
It's probably going to be above like legitimate albums that we listened to this year.
Yeah.
In general. Still taking a second just to make sure that this is where I'd want to put it. But some of my last opinions about some of the stuff at the bottom of my list have been kind of controversial too. So I will point that out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do the count here real quick. Would it make my bottom 10?
If this doesn't make your bottom 10, I think it takes a shit.
It's gonna be either number 10 or number 11 probably.
Okay. Alright, well, what does it beat then?
Alright. It beats the first two Mike Kroll albums.
Alright.
Disagree.
It beats Distillers.
What?
Disagree. Massive disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it beats Farrah Abraham, Cardinal Heart, Alex Boniello.
Nah,
Farrah Abraham's better.
Yeah, Farrah Abraham's much better.
The question is, do I put it above or below Surfer Rosa?
You're about to get cancelled for that one.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're straight up actually about to get cancelled by pretty much everyone with taste.
Yeah.
Think about the hill that you want to die on. You go, Pixies, Surfer Rosa. Maybe not the most influential album that the Pixies put out, but still a very influential album.
No, that's
especially
fair.
since bands like Nirvana fucking got influence from the Pixies.
Yeah.
All right.
Or this where she can't even fucking rap.
All right. Okay. Let me think about this for a second. Let me really think about it. This is why I want to take a minute.
I know
like
this
you
is
said.
a biased take that I was saying here, but like
I will say
fucking
Surfer
right.
Rosa is better. I will say Surfer Rosa is
Okay.
better for at least the influence that it's had and how it's, influenced people from Nirvana all the way down.
Mhm.
I also will probably say that the thing about the Mike Kroll stuff, even though I wasn't a big fan of it, you can still appreciate how much work that was put into releasing the demos and everything. That big first two album compilation is at least impressive for that.
Absolutely.
I just don't know. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Coral Fang. I thought I liked. Then I was just shocked by how much I did not like it when I actually sat down and listened to it for this podcast.
Yeah, but Beat Your Heart Out is like enough to put this ahead of Turns and I.
Yeah.
You're right.
There's no
You're
there's
right.
no beat your heart up on Welcome to the Madhouse.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
You make my heart beat faster, baby.
There were moments I legitimately liked on Coral Fang. Anyway.
Duh.
Now, okay.
Now, if you want to say that Brody Daly might be as a person might be more fucked in Turns than I, maybe you got a point for that.
All right, so I will still probably say better than Cardinal Heart. My question now is, do I put it?
I think Cardinal Heart has an excuse there.
Yeah.
I think I hate this more than Cardinal Heart. I
I can
don't
only give
this
so
as
much
strong
excuse.
as a 0 as Fantano, but I give this a 0.
I can only give so much excuse for Cardinal Heart, especially when we listen to other local bands that I like so much more than them.
Cardinal Heart has the same amount of shit lyrics. They probably
Cardinal
have
Heart
the
also doesn't have a label and
yeah,
is also all self-published, running on just passion.
So was Lucas Kukas, and I would rate all those EPs above anything Cardinal Heart did, even though he was briefly in Cardinal Heart.
Absolutely. But I will say that I'd rather listen to some band that has like passion in what they're doing than some kind of like phoned-in industry plant.
Can we at least agree that I can put this above Alex Boniello's EP?
I don't think so. I can see why you would, but I think
Yeah, I can see why you would, but I think I'd rather listen to Alex Boniello than this again.
yeah,
it is shorter.
Alex Boniello was that was something to do with it. I think it's between this and DD King. Are the two absolute worst, and possibly just the two absolute worst things that we've covered in our whole 2.5 years.
I do not think Welcome to the Madhouse is that level. I think it is better than LSD.
I do.
At the very least.
I do.
We have not listened to enough bad music then.
I think we have. I think the Shags are more talented. Okay, that's a little harsh.
That might be a little too harsh.
But I think the Shags is more interesting at least.
Yeah. And
also,
like the Shags inspired Frank Zappa and Nirvana.
Yeah. Everyone inspired Nirvana actually, now that we think about it.
You
think if Kurt Cobain was still around, Turns and I would inspire Nirvana.
Absolutely.
There we go. Now I'm getting myself cancelled with Dominic.
See, here's the thing. I also wasn't the biggest fan of the OK Cool EP, but that I can still find a reason to put above this, if only for the production.
I like the Oak.
Wait, you
that
two
OK
like
Cool
that
EP
EP?
was great.
I do. Yeah. I wasn't as big. I liked Anomia much better, but I can still accept that EP over this one. A, because it's shorter. B, because I like the people in it.
It's a fucking 2.5.
And C, like, because it has some good stuff going for it, and I do like that it's just a duo broken out of Weekend Run Club doing it. That does mean a lot for me. I just don't know if I can really truly put it below 1983.
Look, you could I'll be serious for 5 seconds. You can put it wherever you want to put it. That's your personal rankings.
Yeah, we're gonna judge you for it though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Power Chords was the Mike Kroll album that I had the least to say about and least impression on. I don't even remember much.
Now I'm going to rush this because I think we need to move on to another album.
We do. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it somewhere in my bottom 10. That's what I'm gonna say for now.
Fair enough. Yeah, this album's shit.
Yeah.
I do think there's stuff you
Transition, have
can
you
at
given
least kind of like a little bit.
the opening to Cloudy Day before it turns into the song. Yeah, that 5 seconds of it was making, hey, maybe I like this song. And Won't Sleep, at least the production was nailing the vibe that it was going for, even if the song's still shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm sure no favorites really for anybody.
No.
I just said, like, even when I said that the best song on this album is shit, you better believe that the worst on this is fucking. The worst on this is Bars, followed by You Don't Know My Name.
Okay.
I can go on though. This album gets worse as it goes on.
I will accept Bars as one of my favorites, even though it is not very good.
We
It's
also
at least
haven't
funny.
talked about the most popular song on this, by the way, which is Fly Away.
Why? It's not even worth talking about.
No, but you know what is worth talking about? Neil Ciciero's remix of Lenny Kravitz's Fly Away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want a Milky Way.
Fly away.
I want to eat the sun. Yeah.
Anyway, I will also say Welcome to the Madhouse is my other one that I thought was okay. The rest, not good. I think Fly Away. No, my specific least favorite moment is that like little that comes in West Side Lobby. That like really elastic sounding fucking aquatic beat that happens in the chorus.
Yeah. I now want to just say that this was my task, was to go on both ends of the spectrum of having people's at least one of our favorites albums of the year and one of our least favorites, and I've now successfully done that.
All right.
Yeah.
So, this is the climax episode of everything we've covered this year. We said we were covering
not quite
Tones
for
and
me.
I, and then
Don't worry, what I've chosen next week should hopefully make up for it. Even if it's not album of the week next week, it could potentially be easily overtaken. But it's still.
You'll probably beat me.
But Trix, you did promise Dope Smoker a year ago.
Yes, I did.
I will say on that degree, it is like we've been waiting for this moment. So let's talk about Dope Smoker.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the easiest hour of my life, done at least 3 or 4 times.
Follow the smoke to the rift-filled land. Drop out of life with bong in hand.
Keep going.
You know
What a
what I need
tune.
to check? I need to check if someone was fucking mad enough to chart this on Clone Hero.
Yes, please. Tell me.
I know that somebody did it to Rocksmith. Oh my god.
Someone did! Someone's charted the whole 63 minutes!
Good.
Hell yes.
Look, I'm going to go straight up and say, like, I'm not the biggest fan of this, but that's also because I'm not the biggest fan of this style. I appreciate this shit. I think they've, I think when it comes to this kind of genre, I think this is one of the more interesting and ambitious. I personally prefer Dr. Colossus because that was a lot more accessible for me.
Accessible? Yeah.
I feel like they're two very different things, in a way.
They are, but like
Dr. Colossus has definitely had inspiration from this.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
It's literally in the album art. I just edited that episode.
Yeah.
We talked about it then.
Yeah.
But like, I think this podcast has made me figure out that I really, really, really like absurdly long songs.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't as big of a fan of when we did the Jeff Mangum Orange Twin Fieldworks song that we did a long time ago. The Microphones in 2020, good as shit. My favorite album of the year last year. Dope Smoker, also good as shit. The thing I had to really point out about Dope Smoker the most is the drums are incredible.
Oh yeah.
Just listening to the drum pattern and how it slowly evolves over the hour to a really complex thing near the end. It's incredible. And just the way this song can eat away an hour, like, I do not get tired of it. It's incredible.
No, it's impressive. It has like a very kind of like Baroque kind of like sort of what's the word I'm looking for, counterpoint to it, where it's a very similar riff over and over again, but it's to use one of Al Cisneros' other albums and his other band, Ohm, variations on a theme.
Yes. It is
I know,
theme
sorry,
variation.
gonna fucking check out this goddamn chart. Not for the whole episode, because it's fucking 63 minutes. This has to be fucking the best thing I've found on goddamn Clone Hero.
I mean,
I
it's
know
hard.
I know that somebody charted it on Rocksmith,
Excellent.
which hell yeah.
No,
But
this is genuinely fucking Clone Hero, baby.
Like, it's worth talking about how this album was cut up, released in other states before we got to the official Dope Smoker release of the track. The Jerusalem stuff.
because they wouldn't release a 63-minute song. Nobody's like, yeah, we can't do that.
Right.
Mm.
They were ahead of their time in that way because on the internet you could do whatever you want now. This was back when it was all like CDs and vinyl and tapes. Mostly CDs and vinyl. Or tapes at this point.
It's also worth mentioning that another band came a little bit before this if we're announcing. It's Earth and their album Earth 2.
Mhm.
It's split up into 3 separate songs because the album was pretty much designed to take advantage of CD encoding and fill up an entire CD. And it's like 80 minutes of just like, only way I can describe it is it feels like you're in a dishwasher.
Yeah, but this
That's
is
cool, actually.
I just cannot believe how well this works as a song, as an hour experience. I guess I'm interested in more of that because it's kind of harking back to like the classical era of when like symphonies and like orchestral things were very long, very like multifaceted. When a composer put out a song, they really fucking put out a song.
Yeah.
This is kind of harking back to that and kind of furthering that idea of heavy metal, classical, in some ways being related, and that no other genre I think could so easily go into this aside from like a Phil Elverum experimentation.
Yes.
Also, would love to see the movie Broken Flowers now because I've seen that movie around in DVD stores. I've not watched it, but apparently Jim Jarmusch uses Dope Smoker to help score it, which I have to hear now. I just need to see Bill Murray walking around with Dope Smoker in the background.
Yeah.
This is like, I'm just like fucking playing this chart with fucking auto stumbling on the keyboard. Yeah, one day I'm gonna have to play the fucking full of this chart, and that's gonna fucking kill me.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to talk on is Al Cisneros and Matt Pike.
Yeah.
They are the bassist and guitarist of this band, respectively. And later they went on to the bands Ohm and High on Fire. And High on Fire got nominated for a Grammy, and I think they won a Grammy.
For what, best alternative recording or something?
Best metal.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, out of all the doom metal that you have chosen, I think this is probably, or like doom / stoner. I guess they're kind of very similar genres. I'd say this is probably my favorite if Black Sabbath isn't, but Black Sabbath's like kind of half doom.
They're proto doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna be very high for me, this album. I've really enjoyed how much this song kind of like turned out.
Yeah.
Like this is an album that the band broke up over when they weren't able to release it the way they wanted to. Like this is something, especially when you have to consider like recording back then. They were still doing reel-to-reel tapes. Those are only 22 minutes long, so you have to like figure out how to sequence that, kind of switch those out,
splice it all together.
Yeah, and make it sound like it's all cohesive.
Yeah, and it sounds cohesive. It sounds like you're in that desert.
Yes.
Just walking to the smoke-filled land.
Like amps so loud that they fill an entire room of sound.
Yes.
Also, it's only the third album. Incredible.
Yeah, and it's also worth mentioning a bit of their lyrics, which, while simple, really get the point across of it's like this sci-fi, but with like Christian themes almost.
And weed themes.
Yeah, of course.
It's very Weedian.
Yes, the Weedian.
Their website is, I think, Weedian.com or something like that. The Weedian.
Something like that. Yeah, they're this was thought to be their last album until they released an album on 4/20/2018.
Yeah, The Sciences, I believe.
Yes, with Marijuana, a cousin of Procrastronaut.
With what?
One of the songs' names is Marijuana's theme.
Huh. Okay.
So you can actually also buy this album on Bandcamp, and this is one of the more interesting parts because on Spotify this is all one song. But if you get it on Bandcamp and stuff, it's actually split into 3 different songs, plus obviously the Holy Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Which I didn't mean to include Holy Mountain, but I think you guys listened to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured may as well if I'm already wasting all my life.
Holy Mountain, the recording isn't as good. Obviously, it's a live recording, so it doesn't sound as nice as this remastered Dope Smoker track. Also, it's 11 minutes and it feels longer than Dope Smoker.
Oh, it's also a live recording track of a song from the album Sleep's Holy Mountain.
Right. And this is not a Houses of the Holy situation where that song appears on a later record. This is just a song from the previous album.
Yeah.
But whenever we get to that album, it'll just be a nice refresher.
Yeah, I do plan on doing that because there's a big thing in doom metal where bands like to name themselves after lyrics from other bands' songs. So like in the song Dragonaut, there's Al Cisneros says something about like Mars Red Sky, and that's another like doom metal band from France.
Nice. I mean, I do think that this is like listening to this, especially after doing what's the Dr. Colossus, is important because yes, we're studying the influence, we're also studying like how you can make that genre more commercially viable in a traditional sense. Because Dr. Colossus blew it out of the park in terms of like making an album that is so good.
Yeah.
But it's so clearly inspired by Simpsons, by Sleep, by like those influences.
You know what? I'm gonna, as much as this is, I still don't know if this is my number one of the week, and as much as I might not listen to it, I might like still order this on my record store like right now.
It's a good album.
This is an album that you could just put on the background in a sense, just like relax. Like this is an album.
That's kind of what I did the first time.
When I worked my manufacturing job, this was in heavy rotation, and because it would just make an hour fly by.
I could just imagine like meditating to this, just having this out in the shower or something, just like really just relaxing.
I'm going away. I'm vibing with Dope Smoker.
I kind of want to try that now, just going in the shower for an hour and just having this play.
You're gonna run out of hot water.
You're wasting water with Dominic.
I mean, the shower already is like my meditation place, so it's not the most out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Well, I will update the group if I ever try it.
If I had enough money in my credit card account to do a record shop, and you better believe I do, so I'm gonna get some stuff.
Hell yeah.
Let me just say my credit card number and the 3 digits on the back live on air. No.
Once again.
And your address. We need the billing address.
322 Sydney Wallaby Way or whatever.
On the back, yeah. I mean, all that information that I gave on that was fake. Obviously, it wouldn't be so dumb enough to give my actual credit card number on there. No, why would I say the magic numbers of 67449?
Last time I cut out random numbers from that, I can do it again.
Again, that's not even close.
I know.
Or is it?
Yeah, this is a song that is a journey. It just takes you on a complete beginning to end quest adventure. Nice key change. Like if you listen to it, you can hear the key changes. You can hear like 7 or 8 verses happening.
Yep.
But it's also
the variations on the riff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a song where the vocals are not necessarily important, though that you can read into them. It's also the rhythm of the vocals, the rhythm of the voice that just kind of keeps it going and keeps it flowing. It all
proceeds sweetie Nazareth.
Yes. Perfect.
Yes.
Bathe in blood.
This is
arise.
This is a great album.
Arise.
Listen to this album before you listen to Tones and Eyes. Welcome to the Madhouse.
Which is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did note that there was some parts of the riff did sound like Iron Man at points, which I thought was fun. A little bit of
I mean, what is doom metal except copying from each other?
yes. Spliff of Flame, Temple of the New Stoner Breed.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a question. Is this a 90s song,
Yeah.
a 2000 song, or a 2010 song?
I consider it a 90s song.
Even though we didn't really hear the full version
Because-
until the 2000s?
Yeah, but it was still recorded in the 90s, so I consider it like a 90s song. Like, if like a new unearthed, like Whitney Houston recording from the 60s was announced, would that still be considered a 60s song, or would that be a 2021 song?
Recorded in the 60s, but released in 2021.
Yes.
Like, it would count for, like, Grammy, like, consideration as a 2021 song.
Yeah.
But I guess, it comes down to whether you care more about release date or recording date.
By the way, I've just ordered it.
Good.
Hell yeah. I think I might buy the t-shirt.
I mean, there's a couple CDs for 2021 stuff that I wanted to pick up as well, so we may as well pick that up with it.
Yeah, well, I'm on Sleep's Bandcamp right now, and they have Sleep Dope Smoker, and I'm considering it.
Well, I was gonna get the CD off that, but it was cheaper to get it from the record shop, and I think
Fair
just
enough.
by doing this, you kind of give them. Well, I guess you mostly only really give them money if you give it by Bandcamp, but record stores need love too.
Also, a
Mhm.
great use of a fade out, as it's over an hour long.
Oh,
It
yes.
gives the impression that the song just keeps going.
Yeah, that it's just this big journey that just keeps going and going.
Yeah, over the last couple of weeks, we've had a couple great moments of where a fade out I feel like actually works. Because I feel so often the fade out is just used to end a song abruptly or just kind of go on to something else. But sometimes you can use a fade out very effectively, and this is a great example where you're kind of given the song, you're given enough that it does not feel like a cheap cop out.
No, you're definitely given enough.
What's 2 more minutes, you know?
Yeah.
You see, you know what's the fun thing when you live by yourself and you do record shops? You go like, "Have I been spending too much money?" And then you realize you were spending it all on groceries. And then when you realize that, you're just like, "Yeah, fuck, record store time."
Favorite tracks, unless anyone has anything else they want to add to this.
Favorite track.
Favorite track, Dope Smoker.
Least favorite, Dope Smoker.
Don't have a least favorite.
I mean, I will put Dope Smoker above Holy Mountain for sure.
I didn't even mean to count Holy Mountain, so.
But we are Tricks.
We are. Yeah, good album. Very interesting ride. I'm still not big into the genre, which I don't know. I still don't know exactly how I'm ranking this week, but this will probably be number one.
Great driving music.
Yeah.
Great, really good time driving to this.
I listened to it on the Nashville drive and I listened to it on the Indiana drive. It is good driving music.
Yeah, I remember. I think this was somewhere in the middle of where I was listening to everything, because I listened to like 7, 8 albums for the podcast at once, and this song ended as soon as I crossed over from Illinois into Indiana, like the very moment. It was very perfect timing.
Hell yeah.
And Holy Mountain was a good chunk of my time into Indiana, like the shortest leg of the trip. Because then I think I went to Tones and I, and then Tones and I didn't even last Indiana the entire time. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Now, as this is the climax of the year,
of Montreal,
it's time for the last of Montreal discussion of the year. Let's briefly talk about the Satanic Covers EP, just to kind of introduce us back into it. An EP that released the same time as Satanic Panic in the Attic, and has of Montreal covers of songs by the Shins, Gorky, Zygonic Mincy, V-Twin, and Broadcast. 4 simple songs.
It's time to finally learn more about our onion.
Yes, that song's pretty good. I also really like Spanish Dance Troupe.
I just want to say, as somebody who it's not one of my favorite albums or anything, but I still do adore it. The Shins, Oh Inverted World. I'm very surprised that they went with Know Your Onion as the cover. I guess it was I think it might have been the lead single for that. I'm not too aware of that, but still very happy that they went with that one.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess it's just songs Kevin in the group must have liked, because I've never heard of V Twin or Broadcast or even Gorky's Zygotic Minchi. Like that's like a Scottish band, I believe.
Mm.
Like Spanish Dance Troupe is a hell of a song.
Although I do want to see of Montreal do New Sling now.
I would love to see more covers in general. I think they have a sound that could really lend itself to covers.
The one that I really hate that I don't like is the Shugo Tokamara, whatever to pronounce his name. So if I've completely mispronounced that, actually it might be Shugo Tokomaru. That's the one. Of Grolandic Edit. It's an interesting. It's not really a cover. It feels more like a remix. Interesting.
I was going to include that on this actually, but I cut it because it was just a remix of this edit of a song.
It was in. I listened to all the songs that you put on the drive.
Yeah, so did I.
Okay, I must have forgotten to delete it from when I was cutting down.
I actually do own that album digitally, because unfortunately there's no CD of Polyvinyl Plays Polyvinyl.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that was a really interesting one, and I think Of Montreal had there was 2 covers that happened on there. There was So Begins Our Alibi and Grantland to Get It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they Of Montreal did a cover.
God, I forgot to delete those.
But no, it's there's definitely quite a lot interesting on here. I love the fucking Deer Hoof collaboration on here. The actual Daughter of Cloud fellows of my I think I enjoy Daughter of Cloud more than I do Paralytic Storks.
That's fine. I mean,
But
Daughter of Cloud is that last chapter of that whole Georgie Fruit transitioning then into the Rebecca Cash, Lousy with Sylvia and Briar stuff.
As much as I've just not too big into this era of Montreal outside of the obvious classics with Hissing Fauna and Skeletal Lamping, I still do appreciate this was probably one of the more ambitious and long arcs that would have come in the late noughties, especially with alternative pop.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think always hit, but Of Montreal's prolificness, especially around this time, will always probably be one of the most important parts when it comes to alternative music in a whole. They really established themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think the output is impressive. It is. My argument's always been that Kevin Barnes is one of the most important, interesting musicians currently alive.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much happening here. So much music over this period, especially, that it's hard to really ignore it, even if you don't like parts of it. There's just so much of it, and it's so different. You can talk about the comparison for Bjork or something. I feel or Bjork has a lot of very different albums. But even then, I feel like this can go kind of toe to toe with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But even for Daughter of Cloud being B-sides and offcuts, it's still pretty good. I think it represents a lot of you can definitely tell that some of the stuff is just stuff that Kevin left off the album for a reason. But songs like Our Love Is Senile, the opening track, I think it goes toe to toe with some of their best stuff. It is the most Of Montreal Off Montreal song I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
If someone had asked me what's a great place to start with Of Montreal, just listen to this one track, and if you like what's going on Our Love Is Senile, then you can start exploring.
Yeah.
But then you also get the weird stuff where which song is it where Kevin basically starts rapping?
I can't even remember at this point.
Speech impediment like macaroni, I believe was a line.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What a line!
I'm not gonna talk about the first part of that line because that was a lot. That was probably the biggest tonal whiplash of the whole thing. But this is probably some of the most Georgie influenced stuff because you have Georgie's Lament, songs like Jan Doesn't Like It. I think the beat for Jan Doesn't Like It is so cool. I just really dig it. It's one of those very clearly skeletal lamping arrow stuff of it's very strange. We're just going for it. We're gonna have beat switches, but somehow the songs that end up standing out the most are songs like Feminine Effects.
I mean, these are songs that I had already heard because I had listened to those bonus tracks when I bought Skeletal Lamping.
Yeah.
So I actually thought Feminine Effects was a part of the album for the fucking longest time.
So it was on Skeletal Lamping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the B-side for it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because it's considered one of the bonus tracks on the polyvinyl version when you buy it digitally.
That's incredible. I didn't know that. So is that maybe that's why they included it for the Deerhoof stuff?
Yeah, potentially.
Because like
I mean,
Rebecca
Deerhoof's
Cash,
another artist we got to fucking cover at some point.
because Rebecca Cash clearly came to the of Montreal in like 2012. Because that's when Feminine Effects got a video. That's when you started hearing her voice, and I think she's incredible. She is the addition that I think of Montreal needed. I wish their collaboration lasted longer. Because you can even hear like the differences between the jigsaw puzzle, the demo, and then the real song, about how like her voice adds so much, and you know these are songs that Kevin is singing on, but it just doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
So she adds a lot, and I guess it's such a shame that she lasted for like a couple albums, done away with. God, Feminine Effects is such a good song. Like it's that moment where it really goes from it goes into like the country folk.
Yeah.
Then you have songs like Tender Facts after that. I think is really really good. Just a fun listen. Christian Sound, really really interesting, like religious political track, anti-religion, about just growing up with like a very religious household and trying to like indoctrinate their child into like religion, and then being upset when it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Well,
and then we also have like all the other stuff I included. Like, did you hear that or see that post I made about the MIA cover Jimmy, and how
again that was also on the Skeletal Lamping bonus tracks as well. They have Jimmy, Feminine Effects, and Little Rock.
Interesting. I only knew that Little Rock was a B-side, but Little Rock was included on a She's a Rejecter single when that came out. So that's interesting that it was on the Skeletal Lamping bonus stuff. But Jimmy, it's an MIA cover of Jimmy, but that song itself, MIA covered it. It's like an interpolation remix of a Bollywood song, Jimmy Aja, which itself is a redone version, or like kind of a remixed, recontextualized version of a French disco song by the group Ottawan called You're Okay. So it's like a fourth generation remix.
Interesting.
So that some of the remixes on here were genuinely interesting.
Yeah.
I love the Starfucker remix of Coquette. The one of fucking God, what one was it? It was I don't think it was a remix. It was The Past is a Grotesque Animal, which was even more the darker. Yeah, that one was good. There was another one. I think it was Gallery Piece, which had a no. Sorry, it was I'd Engager. That or Id Engager, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That one with DJ Sega had a fantastic remix. I reckon. It really like. I couldn't tell it was Id Engager for the longest time of it, and I was like, "What is this?" It's like, "What the fuck?" And then I could start to go, and it's like, "Yeah, this one's fucking good." Like that one. Not as much as I like the original song, but
sure,
still good.
I do have to wonder, like, there's that one song included from Stars, Stars versus Montreal. Like, what does it mean to be versus? You know, is that like a production thing or a remix thing or
a pretentious thing?
It's just like pretentious, like working together sort of thing.
Is that song sounded nothing like of Montreal at all. It was a nice song.
I liked it.
Yeah, I did too. I want to cover that album now, but you could have easily left the credit off, and I would not have noticed.
Yeah,
because the song that they did with Os Mutantes, you could definitely tell there's enough Montreal influence in there.
Yeah,
you can hear the Montreal influence in the Deerhoof stuff.
I mean, Deerhoof's been probably out as long as Os Montreal has. I don't know when Deerhoof started. They've been out for fucking ages.
Yeah.
Their fucking last album, by the way, Future Teenage Cave Artist, good album. For those who haven't heard it.
I also am a big fan of Little Rock. I think that's a fun minute song. It's a little bit of a joke.
Yeah.
It's like this idea that of all the towns in America to write a fuck you song about, they wrote it about Little Rock, Arkansas. And that Yo Gabba Gabba tune.
That Yo Gabba Gabba tune slaps hard.
Yeah. That's
I was talking about the Yo Gabba Gabba conspiracy with my roommate last night.
what's the conspiracy?
Remember we figured it out where it's like all of like the great indie bands were just on Yo Gabba Gabba.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this way back when we first
Yeah,
discovered this
like
was happening.
pre-pandemic even.
Yeah, yeah. This is probably long enough ago that I almost forgot entirely about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, yeah. Everybody talk about how I remember it, and then don't ask me a question.
I'll dig it up in chat because I dug it up last
Yeah,
night.
I think it was from
Actually.
2019. Really.
If someone could please go through the conspiracy again for those who might not be so aware of this
Yeah,
conspiracy.
Tricks, you remember the best.
Basically we were looking through at like the lists of people who have performed on Yo Gabba Gabba, and it was like really big indie bands of like the 2010s, like I think the Shins were on it. The Killers definitely were. I think the 1975, obviously of Montreal, but yeah, there was an absolute ton of shit on it.
Cut to that SNL skit where Timothy Chalamet and Pete Davidson play white rappers, and they recognize Questlove because he was on Yo Gabba Gabba once. He was on Yo Gabba Gabba? You a legend for that, fam.
But yeah, Yo Gabba Gabba, greatest kept secret in the music industry. You want to make it in indie rock, you get on Yo Gabba Gabba.
Hell yeah.
That's the Aquabats, right? Or the guy from
Yeah,
the
that
Aquabats?
was the guy from the Aquabats, which is a ska band.
So someone who knows people, knows the industry, understands good music, making a children's show in which that he brings in all these like really popular bands to make specifically kids songs to really just like get kids into those bands. Is that the conspiracy we came up with basically?
Yeah, and basically that like because I think a lot of them happened before they were like super huge.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, Yo Gabba Gabba's what broke their career.
I mean, in Montreal's case, yeah, Brush came after skeletal lamping.
I'm looking at all the conspiracies here, by the way, and I want to point out how I completely ignore all the conspiracy and have a go at you for thinking that we have Outback Steakhouse here. we have one in Penrith. Because you want to know why we don't have an abundance of Outback Steakhouse here?
Because it's not real Australian.
No, because fucking every other country but America realizes that franchises are bullshit.
Yeah, you're right.
We don't do franchise. Like, yeah, McDonald's and KFCs and stuff survive here. That's not been an issue, but they're fucking ginormous. Like, you go to America and every restaurant's goddamn franchise, and Outback Steakhouse is pretty much independent here of how little there are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Anthony Bourdain and Tony Hawk were on Yo Gabba Gabba too.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
Yeah, the Homestar Runner was involved.
Of course.
Taking Back Sunday, My Chemical Romance, Solange.
No, obviously no surprise about Homestar Runner. I love the idea of fucking Taking Back Sunday though.
Weezer.
So here you go, kids. So when you tell all your friends you got your gun to my head, yeah, that's great for the kids.
Paul Williams was on Yo Gabba Gabba. Jimmy
there was
World,
a lot of people.
MGMT.
Yep.
Also, the killer's name was too much for Yo Gabba Gabba, so they just called him Brandon, Ronnie, Mark, and Dave.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh wow. Looking back at this whole thing now, I can't believe we went into this. Yeah, right before pandemic.
Yeah.
And then, like, right before that, we were talking about. I wonder what's up with Kevin. You know, like, there seems to be a lot going on there. I hope everything turns out okay.
Oh
yeah.
You still have the 2021 of Montreal album to pick.
I don't think I'll have time for that. A, B.
According to people, though, it's a return to form. So who knows?
I will bring Montreal back in 2022. We said we still got to do Sunlandic Twins because that's a legitimately important album for them, and also we've done everything around it.
Yeah.
Violent Soho discussion. Good stuff.
Yeah.
This was fun.
So this whole of Montreal saga coming to a close. We're looping back together
Indeed.
now. Rebecca Cash is back into the fold. I think her voice is incredible.
Yeah.
First time we heard a live on Montreal track, Tropical Iceland, which, again, a random song that has never gotten released anywhere else, really.
Good tune, though.
Yes. I just love the idea that Kevin just has enough songs that they can just spring one on a live, like, radio station recording. Just be like, yeah, that's good. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
That was on the Suffer for Fashion single EP thing. Yeah, it's hard. I guess I'm gonna guess that Skeletal Lamping bonus tracks are probably just compilation of just random stuff again from like the EPs and singles. Also, I have not mentioned that Daughter of Cloud, the second compilation album of the era, because before that was the box set called, if I can do it right, Ambivalent Stumbling Hysterical Dispatches, Strictly in Unisex. Which is like several albums, all these B-sides, or a bunch of B-sides, like the Satanic Covers, Little Rock, Pimps Are Simpering, all that stuff. A bunch of the videos, just all in just gigantic iTunes, like, fucking set for $40 or something like that.
Gotcha.
Also wanted to point out that the Jigsaw Puzzle demo is actually a pretty hard recording to get comparatively, since I got it from a tour sampler that Of Montreal did with Pillar Point at some point. And so it's not like a traditionally released demo or anything.
We got an illegal demo.
No, I got it. I purchased it or downloaded it wherever I was supposed to, but like I think it's mostly been forgotten about, especially because Jigsaw Puzzle ended up being a record store day release in 2014, which is a Lousy with Sylvia and Briar B-side, also celebrating the 10th anniversary of Satanic Panic in the Attic. And from here, Of Montreal just spins in a very different direction. The folk, I think the Lousy with Sylvia and Briar stuff is still some of my favorite stuff they've done looking back now.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that we covered that so early.
Absolutely.
I know people really like the song Psychotic Feeling. Not one of my favorites, but still interesting. I do think the worst cover is the Buffalo Springfield cover, Expecting the Fly. Just because there's so much reverb on the piano and the voice, and that's all it is. And it's a really weird way to end Daughter of Cloud. Of all the covers they could have put on there. But yeah, I think Daughter of Cloud's still really good. I think it is still overall probably one of the best B-side albums I've listened to.
Yeah. I'll definitely give you that.
It was interesting.
We've only done a couple. We've done Untitled, Unmastered, and we've done this pretty much.
Yeah.
And they were both really quality B-side or like unmastered on tracks.
Yeah. Enough of what we listened to, so.
There's one more B-side album I know I want to cover eventually. I don't know when we'll get to it now. The Avalanche is coming.
Hell yeah.
At some point, we will get to the Avalanche and revisit Sufjan Stevens' Illinois expedition.
Alrighty then.
Anyone else have anything to say about Daughter of Cloud?
No.
It's fun.
Yes.
Favorites, least favorites?
Favorite is, that's a hard one to say. That's the actual whole thing that we did. Maybe the Eden Ganger remix, maybe the Coquette remix. I think the remixes were the funnest. I like the Deerhoof thing as well. I forgot what it was called.
Filthy Fifth. Stiggy and X.
That's the one. And I liked the cover, the Satanic Panic covers that we did as well. Don't really have a massive least favorite because it kind of just at its worst, it was just forgettable.
Yeah.
Favorites. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so you preferred over False Priest and Paralytic Toxin.
Yeah, I'd say I do.
Interesting. Okay, go ahead, Trix.
Yeah. I was gonna just say favorites for me are the live track and the Yo Gabba Gabba tune.
Good. Um,
Yes.
as far as Daughter of Clown goes, Our Love Is Senile, excellent track. I literally like Tender Facts and Feminine Effects. Those are like my top 3 tracks on there. Also, shout out to Jan Doesn't Like It. It's a weird track, but like perfectly encapsulating that whole era. Satanic Covers, the best song on there is Spanish Dance Troupe, Familiar Under It's Close Behind. Least favorite song, A Daughter of Cloud, is Expecting to Fly, just kind of a weak way to end the album. I think Color Me In is my least favorite song on the Covers EP because it reminds me of the early of Montreal stuff that I don't like as much. Cutesy, Baroque pop stuff. And then as far as the playlist that I put together goes, which, again, I thought I cut down more than I did, so apologies for that. I thought I cut it down more. I forgot to. I think Little Rock's fun. I do like Tropical Iceland. Brush is really good. Jigsaw Puzzle's pretty good. Tropical Iceland. Jimmy. Least favorite song on there probably is going to be like Jigsaw Puzzle Demo or the Feminine Effects Kevin version. Just because they're just not as good as what came after the actual versions that got released.
Nice.
I'm going to assume that all 3 of us have the exact same ranking.
Well, there's 4 to rank. Can we make sure?
What are we considering the 4th?
Satanic Covers.
Okay.
I'm gonna lump the of Montreal together.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I mean, it'll effectively be the same thing. I'll just say it. Last is Tones and I. I'd probably put Satanic Covers above that, and A Daughter of Cloud right there as well, above that.
Yeah.
And then Dope Smoker is number
1. Yep.
Yeah.
Dope Smoker takes it.
I was not expecting to get number 1 when I busted out Dope Smoker. I'm gonna be fully honest.
I was expecting to get number 3.
Yeah.
I was going for it.
Now we have reached Climax. Of Montreal is done. Trix, you will have that last album to spring on us, but
yes, longer than Dope Smoker.
I feel a sense of freedom either way, so you can't take that away from me, bitch.
Fair enough.
I say that lovingly.
Go for it.
All right. Now the question is, what are we doing next week?
I'll go first.
Oh, you want to go first? Okay.
Yeah, I'll go first because I mentioned it before. I'm going to be doing Man or Astro Man finally.
Whoa.
Yes, because next I am going to be doing the album Eviac, and I'm going to tag on the EP Deluxe Men in Space.
All right.
So what was the album called?
Eviac, EEVIAC.
Operational Index and Reference Guide, including other modern computational devices.
Now, I did promise I would be doing an album with Man or Astro Man, but you know I'm gonna do it the week after. Give Man or Astro Man probably its time in spotlight instead of having 2 albums that we're both like, yeah, we're gonna do for a while. So instead, I'm gonna do an album which it's kind of to make up for the tones that I pick, and this isn't gonna be one of the best albums or anything, but it's something that I've been listening to throughout the week because it just fucks. And that's gonna be Dream Punk. It's the best way to describe this album, but mostly, I guess, calling the band Dream Punk's a bit hard. But for now, Dream Punk Superstars Turnstiles Glow On.
Which one?
Glow On from Turnstile.
Glow On?
Glow On, yeah. Glow and On.
Glow On.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not even on the Wikipedia page.
It's came out this year.
Turnstile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be on Spotify though.
Oh, I'm looking at
it's on YouTube Music.
Looking at Turnstile with a Y.
No.
All the songs are in caps.
Okay, Turnstile is the American one with an I. Turnstile with a Y is Australian.
Yeah, no, sorry, I confused you all there.
Style go on. And then what was the EP Tricks you said for Man or Astro Man?
Deluxe Men in Space, I think. Hold up, let me pull it up again. not all of their stuff is streaming, so it's a bit a pain in the ass. So I'm just choosing stuff that's streaming. It is the Deluxe Man in Space.
That one
Okay.
is on streaming.
Yeah, and EVAC definitely should be on streaming too.
And if not, I guess we could probably figure out a way to get it, buddy.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if the album I'm picking is streaming. I would kind of doubt it given the what it is, but
Cry. What is it?
So this album that I'm picking is by a celebrity you would not expect to have an album released. And it's not even really their music or like even fully them, but he does appear on the album, does do stuff. It's more attributed to him because he has a big name.
Oh my god, it's Milli Vanilli.
Russell Crowe and 30 Odd Feet of Grunt.
Bigger than that.
Fuck.
This goes back to jazz. That go back to me picking Sarah Vaughan in a way.
Get on with it.
Hold on, let me bring it up. Let me post the link when I talk about it here. I have to find it, the Wikipedia thing real quick. But this is something I found that when I saw it, I'm like, oh god, we have to do this.
Oh boy.
I'm scared. I'm really scared.
And
Pick me up, I'm scared.
The album I picked is
Da-da-da-da.
Clint Eastwood After Hours live at Carnegie Hall.
Oh my god. So I don't know what to feel about this.
It
was released on my 2 years before I was fucking born.
I do not know if it is streaming.
Day.
I do not know if you can find it, but I have the files. I have the CD. So, but this is a jazz album.
I'm now going to look. I hope it is.
It is. I don't think it's streaming on my.
It is not streaming.
Okay, I will send the files. But
hell yeah.
Well,
I mean, this is October. We got to celebrate the dead somehow, or the nearly dead.
This is a complete blindsiding from Dominic, and
yeah, I'm for it. I'm game.
We're going to rip into him next week, but until then, I have been Ritalin. You can catch me on my website, ritalinforkids.github.io. I also have a YouTube channel. The link's in the description below. All numbers and details that I have given out, there is a good chance that they are fake. So if you're trying to use it to buy some Steam games, tell me and I'll pass you the real numbers.
A friend of mine had his credit card stolen recently, and apparently the way to do it is you have to buy like education packs. Like when you send your kids to get like that's the stuff you gotta buy.
Whatever.
Because it's just like stuff you can just sleep pretty much.
Huh. Interesting.
It's just really obfuscates. Like, why would you buy this? Anyway,
yeah.
Has come to a new spirit.
I've been tricked. You can catch me on Twitter at @procrastinaut_. It's like procrastinating astronaut. Then an underscore. Yeah, I'm also working on Twitter bots and stuff and things. And yes.
All right, and I've been Dominic. Catch me on Twitter at DACICHOCKI. I've written for Tilting Windmill Studios in the past. I may have some more work coming out in the video game space relatively soon. We'll update more on that as it happens. You can catch Dissonant Waves at our website, dissonantwaves.space. We're on YouTube. We have a Twitter account as well at Dissonant Waves. And just to recap, we are doing Clint Eastwood's Eastwood After Hours live at Carnegie Hall, and our Esterman's EVAC and Luxman in Space EP, and Turnstile with an Eyes Glow Off.
Until then,
this has been the big episode of 2021, even bigger than the Lucas Scoop stuff. Exciting. I wonder how long this episode will be when I edit it. All right. Have a great time, everybody. We'll have a great time.